Record to the cloud. You may see me checking for incoming people for the first couple minutes just to make sure we didn't miss anybody. So if you see me hovering during the event, then you'll know why. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, first of all, why supplements, why Young Living, and I want you guys to, again, feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions as we go. So this is our Supplements 101 class, and we're going to talk tonight about why should people take supplements? Why should they take Young Living supplements? What's the difference? And which ones are for me? And that's what you're going to see at the back of your booklet that we're going to talk about at the end of class, is going to be about why you need to have your own regimen, your own protocol for supplements. So first of all, the first reason that we need supplements is the American diet, okay? Like, one of the things that I learned through studying in my personal trainer education is that, and also just from doing my own research on the quality of food in America right now, is that we are not eating nutrient-dense foods. So you're going to hear me talk about nutrient-dense foods a lot tonight. You're going to hear me talk about, vitamins and minerals, and really trying to get those in nutrient-dense foods. So obviously, ideally, we would get all of our vitamins and minerals from food, but that would have to be an extremely high vegetable, high fruit, good protein diet, making sure that you're getting all those things in there. And we know that most Americans just don't eat like that. And so we're high paced, we're in a fast paced society. And so we as Americans really don't have the time to, plan out and then prepare delicious, nutritious foods. And we know that a lot of us are, raising kids, we're still working full time. We've got, the fast food thing going on sometimes. So it's really difficult to plan and prep. And so we know that Americans really probably don't get a lot of what they need. The second thing is we have depleted soil. So we know that if you don't, practice really good soil practices, if crops aren't rotated and things like that enough, then you're going to end up getting a depleted, non-enriched soil. And that's one of the big things about Seed to Seal, and why Young Living is so big on making sure that we only plant our crops in nutrient-dense soil. The third thing is genetically modified foods. When we were out in Idaho last summer, Christy and I's friend Lisa was like, look at this wheat field. She's like, that is not knee high to an elephant's eye. That wheat is, amber waves of grain. That is not that kind of wheat. It was only about maybe 12 to 18 inches high. And so you knew that was genetically modified wheat. And so we know that is not, that is actually a hybrid kind of seed for that wheat. We know that it is genetically compromised. Instead of 14 chromosomes, it's got 42 chromosomes. And so you want to be eating foods that are what we call like a biblical grain. And so einkorn, that Young Living does still harvest with Clydesdales every year at winter harvest, is actually a biblical grain type of wheat, okay? So genetically modified foods, if you go to the grocery store and you look at the side of a cereal box, it's going to say on 90% of those, this product is made with genetically modified organisms. And that means that they basically hybridize wheat grains with pesticides to make them resistant to pesticides. And so you really don't, I mean, our parents did not eat that kind of grain. This is a new thing just in the last 20 to 30 years. And so you want to be really careful that you're not eating what we call GMO foods. And so if you have a food that says USDA organic on it, you already know that food is also non-GMO. There is a label on foods that says non-GMO product or non-GMO project. That is fine, but if it has the USDA organic label without that, you know that it is non-genetically modified. So you're still safe with that kind of food. So it's super important to make sure that you read labels. So the number one thing before we even get into the supplements is that you read labels on everything that you're putting in and on your body. Okay, so if you haven't watched Stink yet, that's a good movie on Netflix you need to watch, okay? So genetically modified foods are not good. Use of pesticides are not good. If you watch the YouTube video 10 Americans by the Environmental Working Group, they are at ewg.org. You can actually go in with their app and rate products based on, their how pure they are. And so when we talk about use of pesticides, in that video, it talks about how they took the blood samples of 10 Americans birth to like in their 70s or 80s, and they discovered that there were pesticides in the blood of infants that had been passed through umbilical cord blood. So we know that and these were pesticides that had been banned 30 years ago. So we know that there are long-term lasting effects to use of pesticides in our food. Number 5, why Young Living? First of all, plant-based supplements. You do not want a synthetic-based supplement. And a lot of times in the grocery stores or big box stores, you're going to be getting supplements that are not plant-based or plant-derived. They are all synthetically created, in a lab and mass manufactured. So you really want to make sure that they are plant-based. The 6th thing is that Young Living provides essential oil infused supplements. And so this is extremely important that for absorption rates. And we're going to get detailed into absorption here in a little bit. And so that's the number one reason, is that absorption rates go up when you have essential oils infused. And I will quote that study as we go through the course tonight. Okay. So let's, before we even get to our booklet, I am going to go through the digestion and absorption process a little bit. So when we have foods, we take them into our mouth, they go down our esophagus, and then they pass through our stomach. And obviously we have, acids that start working on food as soon as you put them in your mouth. Enzymes get in there and they start breaking that food down. And as you swallow and it goes into your stomach all the time, breaking the food down. You do not actually absorb vitamins and minerals until those items that have been digested get to your small intestines. So nutrients and water and all these things are absorbed in the small intestines, not actually in your stomach. Your stomach's job is to continue to break down that food, or what they call like a chemical digestion, as you can see in our thing here, in our graphic. So you want to make sure that as you are eating, you want to make sure that you're eating nutrient-dense foods that have high absorption rates for food. That's why you have the best absorption rate anytime you can get natural, high nutrient-dense foods into your system. But again, we know that a lot of Americans don't do that. So what exactly is digestion? Again, it's the breakdown of this food through into molecules, and then that absorption refers to the movement of nutrients, water, and electrolytes from the lumen of the small intestine into the cell and then into the blood, okay? So increasing absorption happens when we eat a variety of foods at one time, like healthy fats with each meal, when we take a probiotic, and when we pair certain vitamins and minerals together. So it's important sometimes that we pair those items together, okay? So why should we infuse our supplements with essential oils? Well, first of all, it helps increase nutrient absorption in cells. So essential oils, and this is the basic bare bones explanation, essential oils basically have these little locks of protein to the keyhole in every cell for the proteins unique to that cell. And so think of essential oil molecules as having all these little locks, all these keys, to all these locks throughout your body and all these different cells and all the different, body systems. And so when you have essential oils mixed in with these supplements, it increases that absorption rate and allows those protein keys to easily unlock all of those, or those keys to unlock those locks really easily, okay? So that's where you need your body to get even more of those absorption rates, okay? So when we take a look at page 2 of your booklet, it says most people develop a supplement regimen based on their own specific goals and needs, okay? So basically, number one, you need to fill in the word regimen or protocol, whichever one you want. And so this is where your responsibility comes in for your body. And your job is to, I have a little protocol station in my kitchen where I have all my morning essential oils, all my morning supplements, all my evening essential oils, all my evening supplements, all kind of in one location. And so if you are somebody that's never taken supplements before, this is a great time to get in the habit of establishing kind of your staging area of where you're going to keep all this stuff, where you're going to keep your vitamins and minerals, where you're going to keep your supplements, where you're going to keep those oils. So I like to kind of have my morning ones and then my evening ones. And so, so everyone is going to do this based on their own wellness goals and needs, which we'll talk about. Number 2, Young Living provides some of the most potent supplements to support health and well-being, combining herbs and various nutrients formulated with essential oils. So this is what makes our plant-based supplements different, is that they are infused with, many of them, not every single one, but many of them are infused with essential oils. Okay, and number 3, we've already talked about, it says research has shown that essential oils can increase the absorption rate of certain vitamins and minerals. So again, upping that absorption rate so that your body gets more of what it needs, okay? Number 4 says some people choose to stop their supplements once a week to let their bodies rest. There is no real scientific backing behind this. This is just a choice that some people feel. And I know that a lot of people also might take certain supplements one day and other supplements the next, depending on the needs of their body. So for example, supplements, some of them sometimes, especially if it's like, you know, it depends on your stomach or your GI tract. There might be times where maybe you get a little bit of an upset stomach or a little bit of maybe even diarrhea if you take too many supplements at one time. So you might be somebody that needs to kind of back off and take exactly what you need every day first, and then incorporate those other nutrients like on opposite days, and that's fine. Number 5 says certain supplements are only meant to be taken on, where is that? Where am I at here? This is important to read labels. Okay, so certain supplements are only meant to be taken on a certain schedule. I don't know why the hyphen is there. Sorry about the hyphen. Are meant to be taken on a certain schedule. So you want to make sure that you read the labels, and like if they say mornings or evenings only, sometimes they'll have like special directions, and we'll go over some of that as we go. Any questions so far? Please unmute yourself and just interrupt me, like for real. I am not going to be upset if you just unmute and just go ahead and interrupt. And I cannot see the chat, so if anybody else can see the chat and there are questions, please unmute and make sure you interrupt me as we go. So let's talk about the core 5 on page 3. What are the core 5? So this is basically based on Dr. Jim Hagerton's teaching, and also Carla Green, who's a practitioner in Canada. It's Adam Green's mom, if you're familiar with him. So they are kind of the first people that established talking about like what a core 5 regimen should look like. And so these are the core 5 that like almost every Young Living member should be doing every single day. And we're going to talk about why. And so we talk about building this table of wellness, okay? And so when we talk about building your table of wellness, you think of like 4 legs in the table on the top, okay? And so these are the core 5, or your table of wellness that you're starting with. Like this is a great way to get your body on track for living above that wellness line. So again, the wellness line is where everybody's functioning. You're getting great sleep, you're getting great nutrition, you're taking your supplements, you're oiling, you're exercising, you're doing all the things to prevent illness. Because remember, you know, even if you were exposed to a virus, like a really serious virus, if your immune system is, you know, in tip-top shape, that is why a lot of people might be asymptomatic to certain viruses, or maybe they're even a carrier, but they don't expose symptoms because their immune systems are really functioning really, really well. And so the idea is that the core 5 is just part of that whole process of making sure that you're getting enough sleep, that you're eating properly, that you're getting the best nutrition, that you're, you know, not under a ton of stress, which elevates cortisol, which we'll talk about. So these 5 supplements are the ones that most Young Living members should be taking. And number 1 is Ningxia Red. So I have a little definition of it there in your booklet on page 3, and it talks about how basically Ningxia wolfberry, we are the largest importer in the United States of wolfberry in the whole United States. And so Young Living is the largest importer. We get it from the Ningxia province in China. That's where it gets its name. So the Ningxia province in China, just so you know, is where we grow our wolfberry, is at the foot of the Himalayas. So it basically gets all that extremely enriched soil there, and it grows very well and is very nutrient dense. And so Ningxia Red wolfberries are then pureed into Ningxia Red. And if you get those wine bottles, you need to look at those wine bottles, and you will see that if you let them sit for a while, there is a sediment on the bottom. This is liquid gold, as I like to call it, because that sediment is puree. That is not juice from concentrate. Yes, Ningxia Red does have aronia juice, cherry juice, plum juice, pomegranate juice. I think there's like 5 cherry juice. I think there's 5 or 6 juices, but it also has the wolfberry puree. And this is key, because puree is different than a juice from concentrate. And that puree is highly dense with nutrients. So it'd be kind of like you're creating your own smoothie in your own blender. If you took a bunch of, fruits and vegetables and you put them in your blender and you started drinking it as a smoothie, this is a low maintenance way to have to do that. So it is a pureed superfood. That means it's high in oxidative properties, which means the common belief is that cells actually have a way of detoxing and the junk. So that's what these antioxidant property type foods are supposed to do. They go in and they basically clean the junk out of the cell. And so that's what an antioxidant does. And so that's why it's so important to be eating fruits and vegetables high in antioxidative properties every single day. That's the belief as to how they help the body. And so not only providing nutrients and vitamins and minerals, they're also helping our bodies detox out of the junk out of our cells. So the wolfberry puree, like I said, is like a whole food superfood. It contains like enough, the ORAC value on that supplement, which is the, antioxidant value chart, is like off the charts. And not only that, it has 18 out of 24 proteins in it. And so, or amino acids, it's the building block of protein. And so everything you eat is made up of three things: proteins, carbs, and fats. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot tonight. Proteins, carbs, and fats. Now, you can have healthy proteins, carbs, and fats, or you can have unhealthy protein, carbs, and fats. And so when we're talking healthy proteins, carbs, and fats, we're talking about things like, avocado, or, some olive oil, or we're not talking like French fries, right? Or when we're talking about carbs, we're talking about like whole grain 14 chromosome bread, not a bun like a Martin's potato roll. If you're from Franklin County, you know what that is. So anyway, so we want to be doing healthy versions of these fats and proteins and carbs, okay? So when we talk about those things, this Ningxia Red not only is high in B vitamin and tons of minerals, but it's also high in amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, which help your body function and regenerate cells on a daily basis. So that's why when you see us do a Ningxia in 30-day challenge, we will go in there and talk about how it supports like 9 systems in the body. It is so good for your body. There is a little bit of stevia in it, so you may end up having a bowel movement after you use it the first several times or every time. It may help you go to the bathroom, not just because of the nutrient content in it, but also because there is a little bit of stevia in there to give it some sweet taste. So please know that that is something that, people tell me frequently. The other thing is that you may notice that your eyesight gets better. I actually had my eyesight prescription go backwards when I started drinking Ningxia every single day. So there's obviously a lot of nutrients, and it's high in B vitamin. So just remember that too much B vitamin, especially niacin, can cause what's called flushing. And so that did happen to me once when I was at a dinner where we had free Ningxia, and I kind of did 7 shots of it in a row, and you kind of feel like you're drunk, but you're not drunk. So that is called niacin flushing, which is too much B vitamin at once, and you're not drunk and you're okay and you will survive it. But that's why we always say maybe 2 shots at a time, because we don't want you doing too much of it and going into niacin flushing. But those B vitamins are what provide your body with so much good energy. So if you take your Super B with your Ningxia Red, which is a boat ton of all the B vitamins, you are going to have what we call the Energizer Bunny effect. And so you might find yourself being able to zip around the house all day, getting stuff done, because you have a ton of energy from all that combined B vitamins, okay? So the next core 5 that they talk about is omega Gi's, number 2. And this is a fish oil supplement that blends omega-3 fatty acids along with CoQ10, which is kind of pricey. CoQ10 by itself can be pricey, so you need to understand that our fish oil is sourced from the best fish, and it does not sit on the shelf long term like you will see in the store a lot of times, where if you are burping up fish, and it tastes disgusting from a fish oil, that's actually because that is rancid. So we source our fish from the most pristine fish possible. And we also know that omega-3s are proven in study after study to help support cardiovascular systems. So again, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, treat, or prescribe in this class tonight, but you do need to understand that omega-3s are so good for the body, especially after you've had a baby. You should be pounding the fish oil, because that's great for to work against postpartum depression. It helps with that as well. So that is great it's also great for bringing down inflammation in the joints and the body. So there's eye health, cardiovascular health. There are a plethora of reasons to be taking a really good solid fish oil. We also have peppermint with our omega Gi's, a little bit of essential oil in there, which ups that absorption rate again, as we talked before. Moving on, Life 9 is a probiotic. Why do you need a probiotic? Okay, so a probiotic is healthy bacteria that you are replacing into your gut. your gut actually contains like millions and millions of good and bad bacteria. So things like E. coli are already in your gut. It's just when you have an overgrowth or a viral load kind of type thing of too much E. coli from a food, that it can make you very, very sick, or like a salmonella, if you have too much bacteria in the gut, that can make you ill. But we have those things naturally occurring in our bodies anyways. So, but we want to always have an overbalance of good bacteria. So when you take an oral synthetic antibiotic or even a natural antibiotic, which we will talk about tonight, you are stripping your gut lining of good bacteria. That's why you often will see people get yeast infections after taking an antibiotic, even for a short term. So it's extremely important, if you are ever having to take a synthetic or natural antibiotic, that you are doubling up on your probiotic. Our probiotic Life 9 is actually what they call a high potency probiotic. This is because we have 9 strains of different bacteria in it, plus 17 billion cultures of those 9 strains. So it's actually more strains, more cultured out bacteria than you're going to get in something off the shelf at a big box store, which is again why it is called a high potency probiotic. In fact, we have a member that saw our cardiologist and he asked her, "Are you on a probiotic?" And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Are you on a high potency probiotic?" And she said, "Well, yes, I am." So Life 9 is now dairy free. It used to be dairy based, is not dairy based anymore. You can now take it even if you are dairy lactose intolerant, so you're fine. It is also vegan friendly. That's number 3. Number 4, moving on, is an enzyme. We're going to talk about enzymes more later in the class, but for the sake of the core 5, the essential enzymes 4 is your most important enzyme in terms of the average person. This is an enzyme that helps break down food, and as we get older in age, our bodies do not break down food as much. So one of the things with my anemia that I've been talking to Holly Durst about this last week is making sure that I'm taking my enzyme every single day, because it will help break down my foods so that I'm absorbing as much iron as I possibly can. So for somebody who's struggled with anemia, it's super important that you get enough absorption of iron in your diet. And that's what that does. It breaks down proteins, carbs, fats, and fiber. And so that is in number 4 on page 4 in your booklet. So it says essential enzymes 4, and then it says many times this helps the body do various things, such as help with seasonal sniffles, digestive upset, and more. That second line actually shouldn't be there. Sorry about that. This is still a work in progress, this booklet. But number 3, we're going to say Life 9 is a high potency probiotic. All right, so moving on, so with the essential enzymes 4, the idea is that when it breaks down fats, it's amazing for people with no gallbladder, because when you have no gallbladder, that's the job of the gallbladder, is to kind of massage that fat and bile out into the out of the common bile duct, through the gallbladder into the GI tract. When you have no gallbladder, it just shoots it right from the bile duct into the GI tract, which causes an irritation, which causes diarrhea. So if you eat out at like any kind of restaurant and have diarrhea instantly after, gallbladder or no gallbladder, that is the best product for you, is essential enzymes 4. You're going to take it. It comes in a packet with a dual dose. One is white, one is yellow caplets. You're going to take a white and a yellow with your fattiest meal of the day. You can take it up to the 2 fattiest meals of the day, but that essential enzymes 4 is a great overall enzyme for everybody to break down the foods that you're eating and absorb those nutrients in your food. Okay, last thing, holla, D3. We have D3 now with Young Living, and so we know that there are so many benefits to taking vitamin D3. And so one of the things that they just came out with Young Living is a dissolvable D3 tablet you're going to take. It's not necessarily sublingual, meaning under the tongue, but I know that you can just put it in your mouth, and probably doing it sublingual is probably the most easiest way. And I just got part of my order, so I didn't even get a chance to open it yet. But D3 is extremely important. There's more and more research showing that we don't get enough D3. We don't get enough sunlight, which is where we absorb a lot of our D vitamins. And but that our whole country is basically deficient in vitamin D. There's been so much research published about this. Do your own research, and I'm sure you will find the same thing, that we're not getting enough D3. So this is your core 5. And these are super important pieces of information to get started with building your table of wellness, making sure that you are helping support your body as much as you possibly can to live above that wellness line. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is the Ningxia Red graphic. We're showing you all the body systems that, that it helps. So you can see the nervous system also is supported by Omega Gi's and these core essentials of Ningxia Red. Emotions, digestive system, respiratory system, the skin and hair system, the immune system, all of them. So these 9 body systems are supported just by doing your Ningxia Red. Okay, so we talked about omega-3 or Omega Gi's. We talked about Life 9. We talked about Essential Zymes 4. And so we talked about vitamin D3. So the other thing I forgot to share is that it supports mood and hormone regulation. And it also supports bone growth and healthy muscle and the respiratory and immune systems. So let's talk a little bit about micronutrients. So micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. And that's where we're going to go next on page 5 of your booklet. Number 5 on page 4 was actually vitamin D, which can be found in Master Formula and Super Cal Plus, and both contain vitamin D3, but the thing is we've now added Young Living's own Super D. It's called Super Vitamin D or Super D. Okay, so I'm gonna take a breath. Any questions so far? I'm gonna open it up to questions so far.
What enzymes are in the essential zyme?
They are on the side of the package. I can run and get them for you because I don't know them all by heart, but I think amylase is one of them. They're the common ones, but I can get back to you and get you that information. I'll try to shimmy over here tonight and get that for you. So that's a good question. I need to actually have that. Let me see. It might actually be in my Jen O'Sullivan book. Hang on a second. All right, so let's look up Essential Zyme 4. Any other questions while I'm looking that one up? Essential Zyme. Okay. All right, so the proprietary blend is beta-tene hydrochloride. It has, okay, pancreatin, trypsin, and pancrelipase are the 3. I'm sorry, I thought amylase was in there. And then it contains beta-ine hydrochloride, bromelain, thyme, carrot, alfalfa, papain, cumin, anise, fennel, peppermint, tarragon, and clove. And so pancrelipase supports a poorly functioning pancreas. It's an extract from pig pancreas. And then pancreatin helps produce other enzymes. It's good for those with poorly functioning pancreas. Trypsin breaks down proteins for muscle growth and hormone production. Beta-tine hydrochloride promotes the production of hydrochloric acid, and bromelain breaks down meats, dairy, eggs, and grains, as well as seeds, nuts, leafy greens, and others, and supports blood to help with inflammation. The other 3 that I discussed support digestion, and then papain is a digestive aid that helps absorb B12, calcium, iron, and proteins. So, any other questions before we move on? Okay, I'm gonna keep going then. All right, so micronutrients are basically the vitamins and minerals that your body needs. And even though they are in such like tiny, minuscule amounts in the food we eat, they are completely necessary to sustain life. So let me give you some example. Like without vitamin C, you're gonna have like scurvy or, you know, some of the other things like rickets come with vitamin deficiency. One example I love to share in this class is that my mom had gastric bypass about 10 years ago. And she, about a year ago, started exhibiting really wild mood swings. She was not herself. Even my whole family noticed. Like everyone was like, what is wrong with your mom? She just seems like really out of it. And I was like, I don't know. I literally said to her at one point, like, you're going to have to go in and talk to a counselor. I don't know if it's like, I was thinking everything from like, is it Alzheimer's to is it something else like even more major? What is this? Until she finally said to me, I'm also short of breath. And I was like, you need to go see the doctor. So she went and saw the doctor. And because I have a high history of anemia, I've had a blood transfusion. I've had several iron infusions, especially around times of pregnancy. I was more hyper aware of the symptoms. And so I also noticed that she was drinking Starbucks every single day of her life. And so she went in and they called her, she had blood work done, and they called her and they said, you are either coming back in today or first thing tomorrow because you either need a blood transfusion or you need an iron infusion like immediately. You are critically low. So if you do not have the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you need, you can get very sick. Okay, and so when we talk about these vitamins and minerals, one thing you need to know is the difference between fat soluble and water soluble. So the fat soluble vitamins are what we call, like I usually just say A, D, E, and K. And it's like ADIC, ADEK. I just kind of make up my own, or you could do CADE, KADE, my own acronym of the four main water or fat soluble vitamins. This means these are the four that you could potentially overdose on if you did too many of them. Your body does store them in the fat, so you don't just pee the excess out. You're going to store that excess. Where your water soluble vitamins, you're going to pee out if you do too much. So if you have too much vitamin C, you're going to just pee it right out. If you do too much vitamin B, you're going to pee that right out as well. Okay, so micronutrients are super important, and you need to know the difference between the two types. Okay, and so we always want to make sure, especially if you're on any kind of blood thinner, vitamin K can thicken your blood, and so you have to be very careful. So make sure you read your labels and talk to your physician as well. So again, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, treat, or prescribe, but we do know that, you know, certain things like INR levels can go up just from eating too much spinach. If you're on a blood thinner and you're eating too much spinach, it can up your or thicken your blood basically, or up your INR levels. So you want to be careful if you are on anything like a blood thinner when you're taking any kind of supplement, really, for that matter. So always check with your physician. So when we look at Master Formula, this is the #1 broad spectrum supplement for young living. And so this comes with a liquid vitamin capsule, a micronized nutrient capsule, and a phyto caplet. So this is going to provide a lot of your vitamins and minerals that you need in everyday food. And so I'm not going to go over all the ingredients with you tonight because this is an overview class. So my recommendation is log into your virtual office, go to shop, go to Master Formula or any of these products, and click on the specifications or ingredients for each of these products. So as you can see here, it has a lot of B vitamins, has a lot of other minerals and nutrients. And so it's extremely important to take your minerals and vitamins together most of the time. You don't want to take calcium and iron together because they negate each other. So you don't want to take calcium at the same time that you take iron. But for the most part, you do want to take most of your vitamins and minerals together. So that's a broad spectrum, where Super B is a B vitamin complex that helps maintain healthy energy levels and support mood, cardiovascular, and cognitive function. There are so many, and energy, just so many benefits to your B vitamins. And again, we said, if you take it with your Ningxia, we call it the Energizer Bunny because you're going to have so much B vitamin giving you energy at that point. So #2, it says Super B is a comprehensive source of B vitamins, and we go through all of them there. Super C, okay, the next one. Super C comes as a chewable, or it comes as just a caplet. And this contains like over 1,000% of daily vitamin C to support normal immune and circulatory function. And we know that vitamin C has been a long time promoted immune support supplement. We do know that too much vitamin C at one time can cause a little belly upset. So if you're doing copious amounts of it, you know, you got to be careful. Also, B vitamin, our Super B, will turn your pee yellow, just so you know, so it will change it. These are all plant-based. So if you look at the ingredients, again, go to your virtual office, look at the ingredients, and you will see that they are plant-based. So we have 2 versions of Super C to support the body. So Mineral Essence is a ionic mineral complex enhanced with essential oils that has a lot of the minerals that you're going to need on a daily basis. I'm going to tell you right now, it does not taste the best. So you usually do it in a dropper full, like in water. But our recommendation, if you can't stand the taste, is to take it in a capsule, or you can actually rub it on your skin topically every day. So you can absorb those minerals as well topically. So rubbing them on, you know, I do mine actually on my calf because I don't love the taste of it. So I tend to rub my Mineral Essence on the calf of my leg in the morning when I'm doing my other vitamin protocols. So this is a balanced, organic, ionic mineral complex, are the 2 words that are missing there, with more than 30 different minerals. So without minerals, we cannot be properly assimilated or absorbed by the body. They are necessary for proper immune and metabolic functions, and essential oils enhance the bioavailability of minerals. So another great way to get minerals into your everyday diet if you're not eating enough nutrient dense food. And even if you were eating like a perfect nutrient dense diet, you're still probably not getting every single nutrient, vitamin and mineral that you need. So this is the overview of that we're doing right now, is just vitamins and minerals. We're going to get into other subcategories tonight. So multigreens is the next one. And multigreens is a chlorophyll formula that's designed to boost your vitality by working with your glandular, nervous, and circulatory systems. There are some, so like before I started Young Living, I was drinking my greens because I knew that I don't eat a ton of roughage and green vegetables because I have irritable bowel syndrome that swings. I've been diagnosed with the kind that goes back and forth, and just had my colonoscopy last week actually. So I am big on getting multigreens in my system because I don't eat as many nutrient dense greens as I should because it makes me very ill. So that's where you got to be like really careful with greens sometimes if you have digestive disorders. So one of the side effects of getting chlorophyll into your system is that a lot of chlorophyll helps with oxygenation of the blood. And so when we went to convention, I think it was 3 years ago, Irene was with us. If you guys have seen Irene in the groups, you'll see us call her #SP. And I won't tell you what that stands for, but we had an experience with her where she got altitude sickness and had jet lag and got sick and threw up all over the entrance of the farm. Like literally right where everybody's walking in, she like projectile vomited, okay? She also got extreme profuse diarrhea in an outhouse in the outbuilding and was really very ill from this. And so she made fast friends with Carrie, one of the girls that was on the trip that she had never met before, and was so ill that one of the RNs, was a registered nurse there, said to her, "Oh girl, you need some multigreens," and went and got her multigreens to help get the oxygen going in her blood again better. And so she said, to this day, Irene will tell anybody she comes in contact with, if you are sick or you have altitude sickness or you get, anything like, you need multigreens, because she said in a half hour, she could not believe the difference and how much better she felt. So multigreens is good for, again, just working with all these systems. Again, if you don't eat a lot of greens, this is a really good supplement to have and to take on a regular basis. It also was done part of a study that Gary Young did at a university with a professor, where they studied absorption rates. And when they took greens without essential oils, there was a 24% absorption rate. When they did it with essential oils, it went up to like 80% or more. So it's a high absorption rate because it is infused with essential oils as well. Okay, Mega-Cal is the last. There's two more vitamins or minerals that we're going to talk about. So Mega-Cal is a great source of calcium and magnesium, manganese and vitamin C. It supports natural bone health, vascular health, and nerve function. Now remember, milk of magnesia, right? So it has a little bit of stuff in this, like when you think of magnesium or anything with magnesium or manganese even, magnesium, it's going to possibly help your bowels move. Not necessarily. I don't have every person that takes Mega-Cal say to me that it works like a laxative or whatever, but it's just so you know. The next one we're going to talk about is Super Cal Plus. And so I look at Super Cal Plus as something like, if you don't have a diagnosis of osteoporosis, like you're just, but you're over 40 or 50 and you've been through menopause and you're looking for a really great calcium supplement, but maybe you struggle with some constipation, then you are somebody that might do better with some level of Mega-Cal, all right? But Super Cal Plus, to me, is more about bone density, structure, and the integrity of that with calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin K, and trace minerals. So to me, if you have a family history of osteoporosis, or you know that you have some struggle with bone density, maybe you had a bone density scan, okay, then you're going to want to focus maybe more on Super Cal Plus. They are very, very similar supplements. You do not need to take both of them. So I would kind of pick whichever one you think is going to work for you better. So again, do your research, go into your virtual office in the shop area, go to those products and see which one you think is a better fit for you. Okay, we are going to jump into the immune support. So now we're heading into just immune support, and I want to stop and see if there are any questions.
I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
So in mineral essence, it says a balanced organic ionic mineral complex. What does ionic mean? Like I know what it means in a chemistry context, but as far as like nutrition and supplements, why
Right.
is that beneficial?
Okay. My guess would be that it's ionized to help at the cellular level. I mean, don't quote me on that. So I can like do more research on that and let you know. But for me personally, I think that my assumption was going into it, just that it was ionized to just work the same way, you know, when you think about functioning at a cellular level, that kind of thing. So, I mean, again, I can look it up. Let me see if they even reference that in there. Mineral essence. Mineral essence. Okay, here we go. Is a complex, full spectrum ionic mineral complex enhanced with essential oils. You can trace every sickness, every disease, and every ailment to a mineral deficiency. Ionic minerals are the most fully and quickly absorbed form of minerals available. So again, dealing with absorption rates is what they're saying in Jen's book. I'm just reading down. Plus, okay, take half droppers, 1 ml each morning and evening, or as needed as a mineral supplement. May be added to 4 to 8 ounces of distilled purified water or juice before drinking. This product contains royal jelly, which may cause allergic reactions. Shake well before using and refrigerate after opening. Note, do not take mineral essence with Super Cal Plus, as it may compromise the absorption of zinc and iron found in mineral essence. So again, remember we talked about don't integrate calcium in any way with iron, which is why like cheeseburgers really are an oxymoron if you're trying to absorb iron. But so I know that probably doesn't answer your question fully, but I would definitely Google and research that a little bit more, and I will as well. So in future classes, if that question gets asked again, I'll know the answer better. But yeah.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about immune supporting supplements. So the first one is ImmuPro chewable tablets. Both of these help the immune support system, or the immune system, in different ways. So ImmuPro Chewable is made from basically 3 Japanese shiitake mushrooms, which have some of the highest levels of antioxidative immune supporting properties in the world. Okay, those 3 shiitake mushrooms also, though, tend to help make you sleepy. So ImmuPro Chewables is a supplement that can be taken on a regular basis at night. I would take it at bedtime to help support like a restful night's sleep, but also to help support the immune system. So it also has wolfberry flavored antioxidant in it. It's not the best tasting, but one testimony about this product is my husband. He is an insomniac. So he basically, there are nights when we first met that he registered less than an hour on his Fitbit for sleep. And so the perfect combination we have found for him is if he takes these about an hour before bedtime, and then takes our CBD muscle rub and rubs it across his forehead and the back of his neck. So that has been his like dream team. Okay. Literally dream team, because he's sleeping. But so that is something that is taken on ImmuPro chewables are taken on a regular basis. They support the immune system and they support a great night's sleep. You can take up to 2 chewables a night. He was taking 2. I take a half of one sometimes, and I am literally borderline groggy the next day. So my recommendation is go low and slow. Start low, start with a half a tablet, work your way up on the ImmuPro chewables up to 2 to see what you need specifically. Or you can start with 1 at bedtime. And if you are somebody that wakes up frequently in the middle of the night, you could go ahead and take the second one in the middle of the night if you do wake up from that. But I'm also a huge believer in lots of things. Like I love a lot of celestial seasoning teas, like Tension Tamer, Sleepy Time have also helped me with sleep support as well. So Inner Defense is an entirely different type of product. This is something you take on an as needed basis, not every day, because it will strip your gut lining. And our family chooses to use this as a natural antibiotic. Here's why. So it has oregano essential oil in it, which we know that Purdue went to oregano essential oil years ago to provide a natural antibiotic for its chickens. They put it in their chicken water. So, but oregano oil is a hot oil, so don't ever put it in your water by itself. It needs to be taken in a capsule. You can make your own version of Inner Defense. It's basically thieves and oregano, and I think there's thyme in this as well. So Inner Defense is basically a pre-made caplet, and so our family has chosen to take in this instead of a synthetic antibiotic. in situations like a sinus infection or a bladder infection, there are certain things that obviously I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose, treat, or prescribe, but I'm sharing with you how our family has used it. And I think there's always, you know, anything, if you are overly concerned, I always want you to go to your doctor and get an opinion from them. So my big thing is just, you know, this is something our family has chosen to do with it. And so I just want to share that that's a testimony. So it's something you would take on a short-term basis. We usually take it no more than 5 days. We take it in the morning, and then in the evening we take our probiotic, because if you take this in conjunction with your probiotic, even a natural antibiotic will strip your gut lining of the good bacteria. So you want to make sure that your inner defense is separated at least 8 hours from your probiotic. And it also is something where you can take it preventatively, like if you feel like you're coming down with something. So a lot of our families swear by this, like they'll be, you know, feeling kind of under the weather. And we've had countless testimonies from our members who will start this, and either A, they don't get sick at all, or if they do end up getting sick, that it's very short term. Now, Thieves Roll-On has very, you know, similar properties in terms of helping overcome if you are, you know, making a capsule, let's say, of Thieves essential oil, you can just do that and take it. But I just like Inner Defense because it's easier. It's already pre-made. When you make your own capsules, sometimes you have to, you know, freeze them standing up in a shot glass because they can leak. And so this is just easier. So that is something, again, you would take on a short-term basis. It can be taken preventatively, but short-term, where ImmuPro chewables, that's something you could take like on an ongoing basis. So these are the two main immune boosting products that we have. So immune support, number one on page 6, it says immune support. Both immune and sleep support are, wait a second, are considered immune support. Oh, both Inner Defense and ImmuPro chewables. Sorry, I don't have the answer key tonight. So both Inner Defense and ImmuPro chewables are considered immune supplements. And then Inner Defense, it says utilize a variety of antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal essential oils like oregano, Thieves, and I just want to double check time for you, but I'm pretty sure that time is the last one. Inner Defense. Oh, okay. Oregano, thyme. Inner Defense is oregano, thyme, lemongrass, and Thieves. Sorry. So oregano, thyme, lemongrass, and Thieves are all in Inner Defense. Okay. So moving on to gut health, we are going to talk about the enzymes, probiotic, the soothing gut health products, and then the fiber products. So let's start out with the enzymes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how they're different. So Essentialzymes 4 breaks down, like we said, proteins, carbs, fats, and fiber, where Essentialzyme is more specific for people who have things like common bile duct blockages, pancreatitis, or a really, really sluggish pancreas. So these are a little different. Essentialzymes 4 is better for people that don't have a ton of other complicated situations, like no recurring pancreatitis, no common bile duct blockages. So they were going to actually pull Essentialzyme as a product about a month or two ago, and they had so much outcry from members that they decided to keep it on board as a product for now. But I think that is one that might eventually go away because majority of our members really only need Essentialzyme 4. These two enzymes are bovine based. So that means, basically they are non-vegan or non-vegetarian friendly. They all help with digestion and the unlocking of those nutrients and minerals in food. But we also have the next two, which are Allerzyme and Detoxzyme, which do very different things while they still help break down the food. Okay, so all 4 of these enzymes are going to help your body break down food. However, they can serve slightly different functions. So these two are vegetarian based. That means there is no animal product in them at all. They still help break down food. And Allerzyme also supports things like allergies, obviously. So Allerzyme is another product where if you have somebody that needs an overall enzyme to unlock the food nutrients, but they also have allergies, this is a great place to start, okay? So Allerzyme is the strongest of all the digestive enzymes. It is an excellent choice for bloating and gas, and for those who are lactose intolerant. Okay, so if you're lactose intolerant, that's a good place to start. It is also good for people who like to eat desserts and items containing white processed sugar. It contains plantain leaf, which is a natural anti-inflammatory and is packed with nutrients and vitamins. This enzyme contains the most essential oils out of all the Young Living digestive enzymes, and it's the only vegan, truly vegan option. Okay, so difference between vegetarian and vegan. So just know that Allerzyme is your best vegan option. This one contains this one is the one with amylase, bromelain, peptidase, protease, invertase, phytase, barley grass, lipase, lactase, cellulase, and alpha galactoside, diastase as well. Sorry, I know I don't say them. And then they also have a proprietary oil blend of tarragon, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, lemongrass, anise, and patchouli. So that is the next one. My favorite one is Detoxzyme because I have had recurrent yeast infections. You guys know that if you've listened to me teach any class. And this is the best one for people who have a lot of overgrowth in the body, so candida overgrowth. Detoxzyme is an enzyme powerhouse to help you cleanse your system. It is great for those as well that are lactose intolerant, and it helps to flush the body of dead white blood cells and to allow you to function at your best. Cumin powder is added to Detoxzyme and provides natural iron and also helps with blood sugar. And that's also why I take it, because I've had anemia, and it also, I have a family history of diabetes, and I had gestational diabetes. It also is a good choice if you have a sweet tooth. It contains the fewest essential oils of all the adult enzymes and is not vegan. Below is a list of the enzymes, and that is amylase, phytase, lipase, cumin, invertase, cellulase, protease 4.5, alpha galactosidase, lactase, glucoamylase, and bromelain again. And then there are also a few essential oils in there as well, like cumin and anise and fennel. So this is another one that is great for digestion and promotes cleansing. That was a lot of information, and you can see why this is an overview class, because I don't get as deep into every single one of these products, because there's so much research you're going to need to do on your own as you go to kind of decide which ones are best for you, and because only you know your body. So that's why I like to, at the end, we should be able to walk away with some idea of where you need to head, but we're going to open it up to discussion here once we're done. Any questions so far? I'm going to keep going if you guys don't have any questions. Okay, so ICP is basically our version of fiber. This is Young Living's healthy fiber, and it is, I do want to tell you up front that it does have psyllium husk in it, and it also has flaxseed in it. So if you are somebody that has a lot of digestive intolerances to those two things, you would want to be careful with ICP. Basically, you want to take fiber to help root your colon. Like every day when you eat, if you're not eating a fiber so high in like roughage and getting enough insoluble fiber and a balance of insoluble and soluble fiber in your diet, you need a balance of both. You need the soluble fiber to soak in the water to help you retain the water through your GI tract to poop. But you also need the insoluble fiber to basically root or cleanse the lining of your colon, which helps with health and, big time. But the problem is if you have a lot of GI sensitivities and you have too much rooting going on, then you're going to have diarrhea, obviously. So you want, sometimes I know that GI doctors will recommend a non-psyllium based fiber. So my suggestion then is to just do your research and find a really good plant-based fiber, or fiber that isn't, sorry, good night, love you, baby. I'm good. So anyway, so we want to make sure that that we are, utilizing a fiber of some level if you're not eating a ton of soluble and insoluble fibers. So ICP is Young Living's version of that. So two other products that I like to talk about in this class are Comfort Tone and Digest and Cleanse. So Digest and Cleanse is basically to soothe gastrointestinal upset. So it has peppermint in it, things that are very soothing to the digestive tract. So it helps with abdominal pain, bloating, gas, all of those things. And so I don't love the fact that they call it a cleanse, because it's not really a cleanse. For a long time, I actually thought that it would actually like give me diarrhea, so I didn't want to take it. So now I've realized that it's actually more for like bloating and gas and helping the digestive tract to be soothed. So this is great for people who have tummy troubles. So this is something that can be taken on a regular basis, and is, again, soothes gastrointestinal upset and supports healthy digestion. Stress, overeating, and toxins can irritate the gastrointestinal system and cause cramps, gas, and nausea that interfere with the body's natural digestive and detox functions. So Digest and Cleanse will soothe the bowel, prevent gas, and stimulate stomach secretions, which aid in digestion. Digest and Cleanse is formulated with clinically proven and time-tested essential oils that work synergistically and prevent occasional digestive and abdominal pain. Precision delivery soft gels release in the intestines for optimal absorption and targeted relief to help prevent aftertaste. This product can be used in conjunction with any cleansing program. So there, maybe that's why they call it that. Comfort Tone is a totally different ballgame. So Comfort Tone actually has cascara in it, which my mom was a nurse for like 43 years in a nursing home, and she will tell you that they used to have big jars of cascara that they would give to their patients who were constipated, because it helps with peristalsis, which is the movement of food through the GI tract. And so Comfort Tone, it also has psyllium seed in it as well, by the way. And so this is a perfect supplement to support digestion, stomach, liver, and gallbladder. It has herbs and roots that help with the elimination process, and it also is known to help soothe discomfort from foods that will help to placate gas. So again, if you're somebody that has irritable bowel syndrome and you swing, this is something you may want to consider when you're thinking about which supplements to take, that this may or may not be the greatest supplement for you. So you will have to make that decision. And it also, different supplements affect everybody differently, but this is another great supplement if you do know somebody that struggles with ongoing constipation. Okay, this would be another great way. We should all be pooping like at least 1 or 2 times a day. They really say you should poop at least 2 times a day. I don't know about you, but there are days where I go twice, but generally not. So want to keep your system regular, right? Okay, so Alkaline is like a 2-for-1. We have stick packs, but then we also have the Alkaline powder that you just, go ahead and, the Alkaline sticks are great for on the go, where it's basically the same product. It's just that the Alkaline, when you get a bigger amount of it, and the bigger picture here on the left. So the little stick packs are great for on the go. It helps soothe occasional upset stomach and supports pH in your body as well. And so I kind of call it Young Living's Alka-Seltzer, because it's pretty much the same thing. It works as a natural antacid, but it also has no yucky synthetic chemicals in it. So it also will help balance pH levels in your body as well. So this is kind of like our version of Alka-Seltzer. The cleansing trio you can buy together. This is kind of like the trifecta of making sure that you're going regularly. And so they've assembled it in a little bit of a money-saving package to help you kind of get what you need on an ongoing basis. So you can always look for the cleansing trio in your virtual office under the shop area, or when you're putting your essential rewards cart together. So moving on, we are going to be talking about sleep support next. So the 3 main original items that we talked about are ImmuPro already, Sleep Essence. So this is lavender, vetiver, valerian, and ruta essential oils combined with melatonin to enable a full night's rest. And I want to make sure you know that there is melatonin in Sleep Essence. So depending on where you stand on that and the research you've done, that may or may not be a good product for you to take. And I consider this to be a first line of defense for sleep. Obviously, I love topical lavender as well. So there's lots of topical choices for sleep support as well. We know that the ImmuPro chewables are great for sleep, but also double for immune support. And then Thiamin is another great supplement that supports the thyroid, but also helps with sleep support. So if you are somebody that needs to take thyroid medication, always consult with your physician first. But we do have a lot of members that have utilized Thiamin in addition to like Endoflex. Those are great complementary products where you're taking Thiamin at bedtime in addition to your Endoflex. So our recommendation is, if you choose to go down that route, talk to your doctor about it beforehand. Make sure that they test your blood levels going into starting Endoflex and or Thiamin to support your body, and then get those levels checked regularly, because we have had clients that with Endoflex were able to step off some or all of their thyroid medication. So that is like extremely important that you know that going into Thiamin. So these are all sleep support. Also Nature's Ultra, either in the CBD oil or the CBD muscle rub or the Calm roll-on, all can help with sleep support. And again, like I said with my husband, his is on the forehead and across the back of the neck. Just like my son, who's a football player for the high school here, started his training yesterday, or 2 nights ago. He started Monday, so I guess 2 nights ago. And I told him when he gets home tonight, I'm going to completely rub him down with the muscle rub when he gets home, because we joked today. He kept saying today, I hurt. I said, you sound like grandma, because my grandma, like she always says that, like I hurt. And so he must get that from her. But so I told him when he gets home tonight, like we will fully rub you down. He was walking like an old man when he left today, and I was loading him up with Panaway. So, all right, moving on. Juva, liver support, page 9, number 4 is all things Juva. So Juva Power, as you can see on the left, is a high antioxidant whole food vegetable powder complex that is a rich source of acid binding foods. It is formulated with powerful liver supporting nutrients with intestinal cleansing benefits. So it's one of the most important supplements that you can take on a daily basis. It is cleansing to the colon and liver, which are the cleansing and filtering gland of our bloodstream. And it is extremely important in a world where we are bombarded by toxins. So my apologies, I am not an expert on every single one of these supplements. So I sometimes like to look up the benefits, but it also says you can also take it when you need extra help with alkalizing your body. It is a source of antioxidants and supports your liver to bind acids. Juva Power is an easy way to get added nutrients to support digestion, immunity, and cardiovascular health as well. I don't want to end up reading all that to you, so it just has a great intestinal cleansing benefits as well. But there is a list a mile long in here of all the things that are in it. Juvatone is a little different. Juvatone is a liver supporting supplement, because the Juva Power, you literally can sprinkle that on your food and eat it, okay? Where the Juvatone is like a capsule that you're gonna take. And so Juvatone is a liver supporting supplement that is helpful for those who tend to eat more animal protein. This supplement should be used when desiring to have optimal liver function. Whether you've had a bit too much to drink or you indulged in a meal high in animal protein, Juvatone is your go-to source. It is a powerful herbal supplement to support healthy liver function. So they're a little bit different. You can also use the powder called Juva Flex as well. So if you want to supplement a great oil that supports liver health as well, you can do Juva Flex, and also GLF, the initials GLF, which actually stands for gallbladder liver function. So if you didn't know what GLF stood for before, now you do. So they're all good complementary oils to go with your Juva Power and your Juvatone. We actually had a girl last year on the Harrisburg team that she really did some damage to her liver through 2 doses back to back of antibiotics. I'm not a big proponent of getting on an antibiotic and thinking it didn't go away and then getting another antibiotic. Guys, gotta figure out who's not muted.
Sorry, Stephanie, it's me. Someone's trying to get in to the class.
Okay. Well, they're gone now. That's weird. Well, if you see them pop back in, let me know. Because I just opened it up and they're not there now. That's crazy.
Okay, will do.
So if you guys have any questions so far, let me know. I'd just like to stop because this is so much information that if I try to slow it down any farther, we would be here till like 11 o'clock. So that's why I want you to ask your questions, but I also want you to know why I'm kind of moving quickly through them. In fact, I'm actually doing really good tonight. I think we're only like an hour in, and usually this is like a 2 to 2.5 hour class. So, okay, so liver support is all things Juva. So just remember that anything with Young Living that says Juva is going to support your liver as well. So weight management, now we're talking about all things sleep. So now we're on page 10. And when I created this booklet in this class, I was trying to create categories for you. So when you're thinking about Young Living supplements as a whole, you were able to break them down into these larger categories of like vitamins and minerals, weight management, enzymes and gut health. And then you had the 2 immune supporting things. And then we're going to kind of get into what I like to call the catch-all category here at the end. So I tried to categorize them by you know, by categories that would make sense if you were trying to explain to other people what our products can do. So Sleek is a weight loss line by Young Living, where we have shakes. These are a high fiber shake, which do help with making you feel full. It's the Berry Breeze flavor. Just so you know, some people love it and drink it by itself. I'm more like a put this in my Vitamix with almond milk and some fruits and maybe some other things. I just don't love to down it by itself. But how it's different than Pure Protein Complete or like a Balance Complete is that it is more of like a filling high fiber shake. So that's what sets it apart from our other protein shakes or our Balance Complete shake. And so it's not, to me, something that I could just drink by itself, but I have had members tell me that they like it by itself. So it's up to you. Kind of like Digest. Do I like Digest by itself? Do I not? Okay, so anyways, the Sleek Citrus Slim is entirely different. This is a dual packet capsules. So you have like a morning dose and then a by 3 p.m. dose, where the morning dose you take in the morning and the other one by 3 p.m. because it does have naturally occurring caffeine in that part of it. My ex-husband took this and lost 100 pounds. He dropped his fasting blood sugar by 100 points within about 3 days of doing this, in addition to a more lower carbohydrate diet. So in conjunction with when he had gotten this like A1C back and it was like ridiculously high and his sugars were off the charts, we decided to move him over to the Citrus Slim, and he took it for, I don't know, maybe like 6 months, and he lost about 100 pounds. And he also brought down his sugar really, really well. And so I'm a huge believer in Citrus Slim. I think it really does work if you are doing it in conjunction with, you know, a really good diet and exercise. All of our weight loss products are not meant to be standalone weight loss products. They are all meant to be used in conjunction with a good diet and, you know, good exercise, all the things that, you know, that we need to be doing to support our bodies to lose weight effectively. So none of these are like a standalone product. Also, just so you guys know, as a bonus for being part of this class, you can do grapefruit essential oil topically on the skin. Obviously, it's a citrus fruit, so don't do it where the sun is shining in the summer, especially. But if you apply it twice a day, we have countless testimonies in the group of people who have used it for appetite suppression. So what we did notice is that it takes a couple weeks to get it really going. You have to be on it for at least 2 to 4 weeks before you might notice a difference. And I mean, you have to do it religiously, twice a day, 6 or 7 days a week. You do not want to stop it. If you find, we have found a lot of people who stop doing it right away, they will, that kind of goes away. So the first time that Buffy and I had a girl that from the team that came to a class and she had lost weight, we were like, oh, you lost weight, you look great. How much did you lose? She's like, oh, 24 pounds. And we're like, how did you do that? And she's like, oh, with your grapefruit oil on my big toe. And we were like, what? Because, you know, the pores are largest on the top of your big toe, right behind your nail bed. And so she had lost this 24 pounds. And so we started sharing with the team. And then my cousin Jess lost 42 pounds in 1 month with doing grapefruits on her body twice a day. So, so just so you guys know, that has been a testimony among our team members repeatedly. So we also have Sleek bars. We have a tropical berry crunch, and then we have Sleek tea. So just remember, acetea or oca tea, however you say it, is actually one of the recommendations for diabetics in the essential oil desk reference. So another example of where it helps regulate blood sugar. And so that's extremely important when you're trying to lose weight. I'm sorry, I have a leader who's texting me. I just got to text her back here real quick. So again, this is great for supporting your weight loss goals as well. And we also have Sleek Essence, which you can add into your drinks, which works similar to the grapefruit, because you can also do grapefruit actually internally. So you can do that internally in your water, just like you do the Sleek Essence. But some people like the Sleek Essence a little bit better just because of taste. Okay, so just know that there's no real big super difference there. There are a few extra essential oils in the Sleek Essence, but both work pretty effectively. You will get diarrhea if you do too many drops of grapefruit. Just know that. The Sleek gum is frankincense resin. I swear by this. I keep it on hand all the time. It does not have a pleasant taste. But I just have acquired a taste for it. It's fine with me, and it works so well that I don't care. I'm somebody who's like a gum chewer. I like to keep my mouth busy. Obviously, I talk a lot, so there's that. But I really find that if you can get past the taste, that it really does work to suppress your appetite, and so I love it. Okay, moving on to all things kids. So KidSense, we just got our Unwind, which helps to ease kids overstimulation, brings a sense of calm when energy is high, eases occasional sleeplessness, and improves focus and mental clarity. These are 25 watermelon flavored packets, and this is recommended for children 4 and older. It does not necessarily have to be taken at bedtime. It can be taken during the day, but I would certainly want to try it on a weekend if it was I'm going to be trying it with my children, just so you know, but I really don't have a ton of issues with anything like that with my kids, but this is something that could also be used on a car ride. You can also use Aroma Ease by having your child cup it, inhale it on a car ride as well. Aroma Ease is really great for those kind of issues. So Unwind can be used for a couple different things, that overactive child, or a child that maybe needs it on a car ride, or maybe it's just improving that mental clarity and focus. Just remember that Genius Oil can do a lot of those same things, where this helps with sleep as well, where a lot of those are more for just attentiveness. And then Mighty Pro is our kids' probiotic pixie sticks. They taste great. An adult dose is 2 of them. They also have 8 billion live cultures in them, and they are a prebiotic and a probiotic in one. So the adult dose is 2 of these pixie sticks at a time, or pixie stick style as we call it. They're really not pixie sticks, but but they mix pre and probiotics. And so some adults prefer these over the Life 9. So it's really entirely up to you which one you want to go. And these travel really well because your Life 9 needs to be refrigerated. So I always keep this probiotic on hand for when we go on vacation. So we're going to the beach in like 2 weeks. We'll be taking the Mighty Pros with us instead of our Life 9. Mighty Vites is a full range mineral, antioxidant, and vitamin supplement for kids. And your Mighty Zyme is their version of their enzymes that's chewable. And I'm going to let you know a little secret. I prefer this enzyme really the best, especially when I'm on the go. I'm not a huge take caplets with my meal all the time kind of person. So if I'm at home that day, I'll take Detox Zyme, but I keep the Mighty Zyme in my pocketbook for when I'm out on the go. And you take it, the Mighty Zymes are chewables. You take it right before a meal. All right, so we're moving on to cardiovascular support, and now we are talking Cardiogize, which is a combination of essential oils and heart-healthy herbs that support healthy heart and vascular function. Outside of the recent convention releases, Cardiogize is one of our newest released supplements. In fact, it was, I think, spring launch. If it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was just at the spring launch. And we actually don't have that in the EODR or even Jen's supplement book. It's that new. So my recommendation is that you go to, because I know that I think this one also has CoQ10 as well. Let me go back. I did take notes on it in my EODR, even though it's not in there. But I'm pretty sure that this one has CoQ10 as well. I just want to double check that. So let me see if I can find that for you guys. And then All of Essentials is also the newest release. I think they were released around the same time in addition to Illuminize. So All of Essentials is also great for, it's basically like the equivalent of eating like a quart of olive oil. And it just has so many those omega-3 fatty acids. It's another really good supplement to take in addition to your fish oil. But I would, again, want to research all of these and see, do you really need to take all of them? Not necessarily. So you would want to pick out the ones that are best for you. So Cardiogize has CoQ10, K2, and folate and B9. It's K2 with D3, which helps push calcium into your bones. And the B9 also helps cell divide. It also has essential oils, powders, selenium, folate, and made from roots and seeds. So again, the Cardiogize has the CoQ10 just like the Omegagize. So that's where you're going to want to do your research. Okay. So it says down at the bottom, each capsule provides as much this is on the All of Essentials, hydroxytyrosol as a liter of extra virgin olive oil. So again, you want to really make sure that you do your research on those 2 supplements, those 3 actually, if we're talking Omegagize as well. So Omegagize, All of Essentials, and Cardiogize would be considered the biggest supports to the cardiovascular system. a complementary oil is Aroma Life. So I always like to kind of throw in the complementary oils for you guys because it's really a good time to discuss them. But Aroma Life has ylang ylang in it. Don't know if it has marjoram or not. I'm trying to remember, but Aroma Life has a lot of benefits to the cardiovascular system. For example, my mom completely has kept her blood pressure under control with just Aroma Life at the heart twice a day. Holly, who's texting me, her mom Maggie had 30,000 irregular heartbeats a day, and so she had her heart ablated, which is where they burn the circuit system of the heart a little bit. And she was having, then they started again, and so she went back to the cardiologist, and they were going to ablate her again, and she started the Aroma Life in the meantime, and she went back to the doctor, and the doctor was like, "What are you doing? You have 0 irregular heartbeats." And she will tell you that that is the only oil that she has used for that. I mean, she has a lot of other supplements and things that she uses, but that's really how her testimony is that she feels that is completely what did it. And she told her doctor about Aroma Life and everything. One more example is that my grandma, about 3 or 4 years ago, she was having an issue. She had a pinched nerve in her back that caused her blood pressure to just skyrocket. And she has a congenital family history of high blood pressure anyways. And it was like 200 over 110. And the doctor was like, up your medication and then come in in 3 days. If it isn't better, we'll monitor you in the next 3 days. And so the night before she was supposed to go in, it was still running high. And I took all the Aroma Life to her. She did it every 20 minutes at the heart. And by the next morning, her blood pressure read like 120 over 63. And the doctor was like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "Well, my granddaughter does these oils." So our family is a huge believer in Aroma Life. We recommend that to a lot of our family members that maybe we're not so compliant with, but anyways, so any questions so far? I'm really going fast. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we are moving on to bone and joint support, number 8. This is on page 11 of your booklet. So my ex-husband's mom still does not do oils really at all, but she does inner defense because she had viral bronchitis. And one time she was on like a step down and a steroid and an inhaler. And she took literally 1 dose of inner defense and was better the next day. And she could not believe it. So she keeps that on hand. And she also insists that I order her Agilise every single month. It helps with reducing inflammation while supporting joint and cartilage health. I am not an expert in bone and joint health, but I will tell you that I know that Agilise has an unsheathed collagen, which is what makes it stand apart from other collagen supplements that you might get in the store. So that is the one thing that really sets Agilise apart. And I remember Gary talking about that actually at convention the year it was released. I was actually at that convention, and I remember him talking about that. So it is like an unsheathed collagen. It says, this is great if you're a gym rat or you love to run or walk daily, which most of us do, or are an athlete, or are in the middle-aged or elderly category, okay? So it supports the natural acute inflammation response in joints after exercise and helps promote joint and cartilage health for mobility and flexibility. And so that's what she was taking. My mother-in-law was taking it for her joint pain and swears by it. So that's the first one. The second one is BLM, which stands for bone, ligaments, and muscles. And so BLM is a little bit different than Agilise, but not completely. So you got to know whether you are having like joint and cartilage pain or whether you are having something from bone, ligaments, or muscles. And so this is an excellent addition to support your mobility support regimen. It helps provide flexibility and reduces inflammation while boosting immune function. So a side benefit. It is infused with essential oils to help support circulation. This supplement may be combined with Agilise, so or sulfurzyme, or taken by itself. So that was the third one. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Buffy.
Hey.
So you guys probably don't know this, but a little over a year ago, I tore the meniscus in my knee. And instead of having surgery, I've been doing Agilise and BLM, and then just recently the sulfurzyme. And I am doing amazing. I can go up and down stairs. I can ride bikes. I can walk. I don't run. Inflammation has come down. I mean, I am like, as it was last March, and the difference between how I was last summer at this time and how I am today is like night and day. And I can tell you that the Agilise and the BLM and the sulfurzyme, if I'm not taking one of those three, or if I, run out of one, it is a noticeable difference in about 2 days.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is like, that's one thing my mother-in-law has said, like, man, it's like Ningxia. She knows when she's not taking it. Is that, then you're saying that's kind of how you are too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that it's allowed that cartilage in my knee to start to regenerate. I mean, I really feel that that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And this one, BLM also has the MSM, which is methyl sulfa. I can never say this, methylsulfonylmethane, which is made from the wolfberry plant or the wolfberry. And again, it's one of those things where it has basically the same nutrients in it like breast milk and that's why and sulfurzyme has the MSM as well. Sulfurzyme doubles as like for hair and nail growth, but it also helps with things like arthritis, bursitis, those kind of things. You can get it in capsules or you can get it in a powder and make what we call the pink drink, which if you guys need that recipe, let me know, because the pink drink, a lot of people swear by the pink drink. So I just did not a video, but I did a post about it a couple months ago, so I can tag you guys on that. So healthier hair, smoother skin, and stronger nails is what happens when cells regenerate themselves cleaner and stronger, and even for better mobility. Sulfurzyme also helps support the immune system and circulatory system. It also is better supported liver to cleanse and filter the blood and detox your system. It also can help with energy. Sulfur is responsible for vital amino acids in your body that support healthy skin, hair, nails, hormones, and enzymes. Sulfur is naturally found in all plant and animal cells. Sulfur amino acids help our body produce glutathione. Glutathione increases energy, improves mental clarity and focus, helps support proper immune function, improves the quality of sleep, supports athletic. It just has a list that goes on and on. The other thing you need to know about, there was something else I wanted to tell. Oh, glutathione is really good for guys with libido too, by the way. Glutathione is a big, when we talk about the Lucy Libido class, that's a huge thing too. So you want your guy on this if there's any issues there. So, again, the sulfurzyme powder also has a prebiotic. So this is something that you could take essentially with your Life 9, because your Life 9 doesn't have a prebiotic in it and could feed off the prebiotic in sulfurzyme. If you want a natural prebiotic, you can eat sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, miso soup, but you got to be careful, especially if you're lactose intolerant with kefir, obviously. And also a lot of times with the kefir in the stores, they are really high in they're high in natural sugars, which is better than added sugar, but some of them also have added sugars. So be careful with kefir. But again, like miso soup, anything that's fermented is going to have like a little, have that prebiotic effect. But you got to be careful with sauerkraut too. Okay, so moving on to thyroid support, we talked about Thyromin and Endoflex combined as great complementary products, the oil and the supplement. I've had some people just kind of start out with just the Endoflex first, see how that goes, directly applying it to the thyroid in a roll-on every day to support healthy thyroid levels. But again, talk with your doctor and make sure you get those levels checked before you start so you know whether or not it's making a difference. These are what I call outliers. So the rest of these are outliers. Buffy, do you want to talk about K&B? If not, I can talk about K&B, how you use it, I mean.
Yes. So I had a urinary tract infection, and the first time I went and got an antibiotic. The first one didn't work. And then I got the K&B, and it tastes horrible. But it was literally probably 15, 20 minutes after I took the first dose that all of the irritation went away. I mean, it was like almost instant. It was like freaky quick. So definitely if you are, kidney bladder issues, that's something you want to have on hand. I learned quickly that, yeah, it tasted bad, but it made me feel better so quickly that I really didn't care.
That's right. And the funny thing, I don't know if you remember, I always tell this story, but I said to her, why did you get this? And because most people don't carry this supplement a whole lot. It's a very specific, supplement to have on hand. And she was like, oh, well, because I scanned for it on my iToby scan last week. What's the matter? It was just a firework, babe. Go tell Brian. He'll know. Sorry, my son doesn't like loud noises. Oh, we had to go pick a jab. Okay, you can stay out here with me if you want to. But anyway, so K and B stands for kidney and bladder. And anybody that has like recurrent kidney infections or bladder infections, this is a great supplement to have on hand, but it is not an antibiotic. And so this is something that you would definitely want to be seeing a physician as well, in addition to taking the supplement. And one thing you do need to remember is that there is a very big difference between a kidney and a bladder infection. So a kidney infection becomes way more dangerous. I had a friend of the family that was like in a coma after one for a short time. So you really don't want to mess around with any of these things. Always make sure you're getting to your physician right away, just to ensure. I mean, if you're seeing a naturopath, obviously you can tell them like, I have this natural antibiotic and, you know, am I okay to use this? You would want to check with your physician just to make sure, obviously. So I like to make sure everybody knows that.
Hey, Steph.
Yeah.
If you remember, I scanned for it, but didn't have any symptoms of urinary tract infection at the time.
Right. And the other thing, Buffy took 10 days of an antibiotic and wasn't getting better. And the doctor's office called and told her she had, when they cultured her urine, she had taken the wrong antibiotic.
Yep.
Right. So this is again where, you know, you just really, and let's talk a little bit real quick about the difference between a synthetic antibiotic and a natural antibiotic. So a synthetic antibiotic is made in a lab and then mass produced, like scaled up, and like millions of that drug are made, right? And that never changes. That the genetic code of that does not change, right? But when you are talking about a whole plant essential oil, every crop distillation is slightly different. So when you're talking about all the oils that go into that inner defense, whether it's thieves and the thyme and the lemongrass and the oregano, every crop is slightly genetically different. And so the research shows that on that natural antibiotic, that is why in a synthetic, you're going to have these superbugs that become immune to those antibiotics because they figure out the genetic code of the synthetic antibiotic. Where when you're taking a natural antibiotic, it's like this little dance where the natural antibiotic's like, can't figure me out, because it's slightly changed genetic code every time. And so even when you think about any kind of, and how essential oils work in general, different from synthetic drugs, is that when you are talking about a synthetic drug, you are talking about, like, even though we know like the bark of certain birch trees lowers blood pressure, right? Naturally, they're going to take that birch tree, even a lot of synthetics are based off of plants, by the way. But what they do is instead of taking the whole plant, they weed it down molecule by molecule by molecule and then get the exact molecules they need and then recreate those in a lab synthetically and put those together. So when you're using, people wonder why essential oils work. Well, that's why they work, because they're the whole plant and they still work on the body just like that synthetic molecule is. It's just that those synthetic molecules are stripped down so tiny that it's like they take the specific molecule and then it forces the body to do what it wants it to do, versus the body naturally responding to do what it's supposed to do. So my grandma, the night that her blood pressure skyrocketed, she still took her blood pressure medication. Had she taken 2 synthetics, they would have worked together to force her blood pressure down, possibly even too low. But when you're taking your regular synthetic and then you have a natural something or other, it doesn't force the body absorbs it and utilizes what it needs. This is why those of us who like still sometimes take synthetic medications, or sometimes still, have to, might take a synthetic antibiotic or whatever, maybe you have a child with attention deficit, so you're doing ADD, some prescription plus, your essential oil or whatever. The idea is that there are no side effects or drug interactions because your body only utilizes what it needs and it just completely metabolizes it differently. Okay. Like, in other words, it's not going to force your body to do what it wants it to do. Your body's going to take it and utilize it for what it needs to do. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, prostate health, obviously great for men, especially men that have any kind of prostate cancer, family history. Again, they need to check with their doctor. I'm not a doctor, can't diagnose, treat, or prescribe. Illuminize is great. It protects the eyes from damaging blue light. It helps improves visual performance and just overall proper eye health. So it increases macular pigment, optical density. So anybody that has things like, who might have family history of macular degeneration, and it's something that, again, take to your eye doctor, show it to them, let them know that that's something that you're taking, and talk to them about it if you have any questions. Parafree, moving on, is also an outlier. It is basically made to get rid of parasites in your body. We have a member that after taking this pooped out a 8-inch worm that she took a picture of. If you want to see it, I can send it to you. But we've had a couple people give us testimonies where they did poop out worms. About 40 years ago, my mom was saying that, actually it was a friend, not my mom, that was saying that her mother gave them deworming pills as humans back like 40 years ago because that was more common back then to have these worms, but it's still very prevalent today, and people probably don't realize that every country has worms. It's not just a third world issue. So it is great. It would be something you would want to take as a cleansing protocol. All right, we're heading into the female support supplements. And the first one that I like to talk about is Cortistop, even though it's number 12. So one thing when Chrissy came to oils, one of the first things I did when she was telling me how she was feeling tired and bloated. She had belly fat more than other areas. And I was saying to her, I think you might be in adrenal fatigue. And I said, one of the things that your adrenals do is that they can get overtaxed. And so as adrenaline goes up, cortisol levels go down. And so as your cortisol levels drop, your hormones can get out of whack. Your metabolism slows, so you're going to gain more weight. So you might even stop menstruating if your cortisol levels get too high. When the body is under a ridiculous amount of stress, you can even stop menstruating. So for example, in high school, my best friend growing up was anorexic and completely stopped getting her period. She was like 80 pounds. And in fact, at the very beginning of COVID, I skipped a period. So I know that my cortisol levels were a little out of whack. So we know that, like I said, it also then makes for not good weight loss protocol. So Cortistop is something you take for about a 4-week period, then you stop for about 4 weeks, and then you can take it again for another 4 weeks. And so what it does is it helps bring down those cortisol levels naturally. It does have naturally occurring DHEA in it as well. And so this is great for, like I said, supporting a healthy metabolism and also supporting your immune system. Because think about it, when you get stressed after a while, and this is kind of like even with thieves, if you start doing thieves every single day on your throat as a roll-on, as your cortisol levels drop and your immune system goes up, there's kind of like this sweet spot where you actually can get sick because your immune system is kind of like shifting. So like, it's nothing for me to hear people say that when they start thieves that they'll get a little cold. Or they won't, they might not feel quite themselves for a couple of days. So I always tell people as they are starting thieves protocol, just push through it and do it every single day. So if people ever ask you, because then they're like, well, I thought thieves was supposed to boost my immune system. Well, it does boost it, but as it's boosting it, as your cortisol levels drop, there's this kind of sweet spot where your immune system gets a little shaky, and then things flop and you're good to go. So, so again, cortisol brings down those high cortisol levels. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is Femigen. So Femigen is has whole food herbs like wild yam, damiana, and dong quai. Also has amino acids and hormone balancing essential oils. And then it says special nutritional support to the female systems. It can act like a natural estrogen and helps balance the hormones and reproductive system from the developmental years all the way through menopause, where PD8020 is more for postmenopausal. Okay, so when you eat food, like cholesterol comes from your food, right? And so some cholesterol is good. Cholesterol in your body is taken to form DHEA and pregnenolone. So all DHEA and pregnenolone come from cholesterol, and that's how it's made in your body. Those two things are the precursor to every other hormone in your body. So if you're not eating at least some cholesterol, you need to have some healthy cholesterol where you're getting enough cholesterol that you can actually produce these other things. But when you go through menopause, your body stops making the DHEA and the pregnenolone naturally. And so this is, especially when hormone levels decline with age, you really want to make sure that you're getting those things into your body. So definitely look into this and do your research on this. If you do have a family history of hormonal based breast cancer, you really need to do your research. Just like when people come to me about Progestins Plus, there is so much research showing you that natural progesterone is so different from synthetics. So please, please, please do your research and don't walk in a ton of fear there. Make sure you know the information behind that. So I'm going to let it at that for this class. Okay, so PD8020 is great for like postmenopausal, but I think of Femigen as supporting people who are trying to get pregnant, people who have struggled with fertility issues. This is a great product to support them. Where PD8020 to me is more for like menopause and postmenopausal. Endogize is the next one, and Endogize helps support a woman's endocrine system. So when our hormone and cortisol levels get out of balance, it can lead to imbalanced metabolism, which further leads to decreased libido, decrease in energy, and an increase in food consumption. So for a woman's body to maintain, it is critical for her to maintain a healthy endocrine system. And so that's what this supplement is for. So I would not necessarily take Femigen and Endogize. I don't think that you need both of them. This is more for hormones that travel specific to like the adrenals, pituitary, hypothalamus, thyroid, and ovaries. And so when the endocrine system is not balanced, each of these body systems is unable to function properly and can put undue stress on the body systems. Again, do your research on the ingredients in these products so that you know exactly what they do and you know exactly how they're going to help your body, okay? So the last part of this, last few parts of this class are anti-aging. I do not have a section for some of this. We're going to talk about the number 13. We have longevity, which is a blend of fat-soluble antioxidants that protects DHEA levels. And then MindWise. So MindWise is more for normal brain and heart function. It also has CoQ10. So this and omega-3 fatty acids, MCT, and vitamin D3. So this is, again, where you want to do your research to decide, like, am I over, 40 or 50? Do I have attention issues? Do I have clarity issues? That might be a better solution for you than Omegagize if you have those. And then again, you would have your D3 and you might not necessarily need all of those products. So that's where you want to be careful to know that, do I necessarily need all of these? And that's why I'm not somebody that says when you come into Young Living, oh, you need every supplement. No, you don't. Okay. You need what your body needs based on your age, based on your health status, based on your nutrition, based on your exercise. I mean, all these things, based on your family history. I mean, these are things that like if you know that your family history is strong for osteoporosis, then Super Cal Plus is going to be one of your better bets. Okay. Love you, buddy. So MindWise is formulated to help healthy brain function. It supports cardiovascular health for better cognition. It is a smart choice for a healthy heart and mind, and it comes in 2 packages. You can get it as a serum or in single serving sachets. But I wanted to go back to longevity because I know longevity also has the highest, I think it's one of the highest antioxidant values outside of ImmuPro chewables. This would be another really, really high antioxidant type of supplement. Longevity soft gels are pre-mixed essential oil synergy that is ready to consume. These are designed to dissolve in your intestines rather than your stomach. So if you're somebody that has had gastric bypass, this may not work as well for you because we know that it's harder when you really can't do time release caplets whenever you're after you've had gastric bypass. So getting oils into your intestine promotes better health and allowing your stomach acids to come in contact with the oils. While stomach acid is not a huge offense to oils, there are some added benefits to getting them into your intestines rather than your digestive system. Supporting your gut goes a long way towards longevity. So again, research the ingredients. This actually has medium chain triglycerides, coconut oil, thyme, orange, clove, and frankincense in it as well. The one supplement that I did not get into your booklet is AminoWise. So I did want to, and PowerGize. These are 2 athletic-based supplements that I want to talk to you about real quick. AminoWise is something I'm having my son use right now, basically in replace of like a Gatorade. It is great for athletes. It helps build up those electrolytes again. It also helps just with muscle repair after a lot of exercise and helps with amino acids. Again, it says you can drink this during your workout or directly after to help your body flush lactic acid buildup. So like with football, that's one of the things we've been doing with him. It's a hydration mineral blend. It has recovery blend, a muscle performance blend. And just so you guys know, the Vitality drops are also electrolyte drops. So if you have an athlete in the family, that's a great, like this week, I've been saying to him, like, ditch the Gatorade with all the synthetic crap in it and the colorants. I want you to be doing these drops. He stole them from me at one point and was like drinking almost too many of them. And so we had to back off. So that's a great one. And PowerGize is another great supplement for athletes that helps them muscle repair and all the things with working out. So that's PowerGize. It says it's utilized by any adult wishing to boost their physical game. It has ashwagandha root, which is also found in endogyes, by the way. It helps support male testosterone, physical performance, and sexual drive. But both men and women can use this product, okay? But probably a lot more guys are going to take because it has Idaho blue spruce, which also helps with libido. All right, so, oh, I'm sorry, I did actually include them at the end here. They're just not in your booklet. And there are the vitality drops. And then that is actually where we are going to head into your booklet on page 14 and talking about, we're going to stop the share and we're going to start talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording as well.